Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to the Orlando Magic Nation, your source for all things Orlando Magic on YouTube. For Magic fans, by a Magic fan. I'm Edwin Valentine. I just want to thank you very much for clicking on this video and spending a little bit of time talking Magic with me. Share this video, hit that like, or drop a comment below and let me know which one of the ratings you found the most surprising. In this video, I'm going to be going over the 2K26 overall ratings for the Orlando Magic and its players. There was a little bit of a surprise looking back at the last ratings of 2K25 and what the overall ratings were adjusted to for the beginning of 2K26. But again, this is a video game, but again, as I mentioned, I'm covering all things Orlando Magic. So we're going to be going over this person by person. I won't go through every single player on the team. I'm going to go through at least the first six or seven because those are going to be the most impactful for this upcoming season. So if we look just at the team as a whole is in tier 2, has an overall rating of 82, has inside scoring of 80, outside scoring of 86, and the athleticism of 79. The playmaking 76, the defense is 60. We'll get back to that one. Rebounding 63. The intangibles of 74 and the potential of going up to an 85. So they have a potential of going up to 85. Right now, we're currently at 82. So that's something to think about, that in the end, we could move up in there. For me, the biggest surprise here is the defensive rating. Magic are the second ranked defense, or were last season. So why are they in the bottom 10 in teams listed here under defense? So for me, I think that's the biggest surprise on here. Being in tier 2 makes sense. That's not that big a deal. I feel the rest of them make a lot of sense. The outside shooting, they're being very generous for they're being very generous with us on that. But I think for me, the only thing to look at and kind of be like, hey, that's a bit odd, is the defense. Again, this is a video game, so we're not going to get too huffy puffy. But like I mentioned in yesterday's video when I talked about the betting futures, this kind of is, again, just looking at the perception of the players on the Magic team. Because you'll see in the overall ratings of the top 100, you'll see a lot of names that you're just kind of like, oh, that's weird. That player isn't that good anymore, but they still have that perception that they are. So that's the only one of these things that I'd be a little bit like, that don't make the most sense, but it's a video game. It's not the end of the world. We know we have a better defensive rating than this. It is a video game, but guys and girls aren't going to want to just shoot and have their shot blocked every 2 seconds. So I understand they want there to be scoring. They want there to be some excitement in it. But I don't know, 60? That seems a bit low. But if we go down to look at all the rest of the players, here, if we're just going to go player by player, so the little check marks that appear there are just to indicate that their rating has been verified, basically, that it's been announced by 2K26 through socials. So we had an adjustment to all four of these players. It's our top four players. Paolo is now currently rated as an overall of 89. He was 90 before the adjustment. His three point rating is a 79 and his dunk is an 85. The next up is Franz. His overall rating is an 86. At the end of 2K25, he had a rating of 89. So he dropped 3 to 86. His outside shooting, or his 3 point shooting, is at 75 and his dunk is at 80. Desmond Bane is at 83. At the end of 2K25, he was an 86, I believe. So he's dropped a bit down as well. His 3 point shooting is an 88 and his dunk is a 75. Jalen Suggs went down from an 84 to an overall of 82. That's where he's going to start his 2K26. His 3 point rating is 79 and his dunk is 80. Anthony Black, AB, is our number 5 ranked player and he's at 80 overall. His 3 pointers is 79. His dunks are at 75. Then the next three are centers. So even looks like the game doesn't necessarily know how to rate our guys, but they have Wendell listed first at a 79 overall with a 60 3 point shooting rating, as well as a 75 dunk. Goga is the next one at also 79 overall with a 65 3-point rating and 65 dunk rating. So a little surprised that Goga has a higher 3-point rating than Wendell. Maybe the mystery of Goga, since he doesn't shoot that many, they have him higher than Wendell because Wendell can shoot better than Goga, or at least has so far in their careers. Then the last one here is Moe Wagner at 79 overall with an 83-point rating and 65 on dunk. That's when we have the ninth on the list is Tyus Jones. I thought he would have been a little bit higher in the ratings here, but he ends up right now with a 77 rating, 84 rating on 3-point, and 30 on dunk. Jonathan Isaac is a 76 overall with a 64 3-point and an 82 dunk. Then we have our two-way player, Orlando Robinson, with a 76 overall rating, 76 3-point, and a 60 dunk. Tristan comes in after him at 75 overall, 76 3-point shooting, and 65 dunk. Jet Howard, 73 overall, 77 3-point, and 65 dunk. Then our other two-way player, Jamal Kane, is the last one that is appearing on here with a 71 overall, 71 3-point, and 70 and dunk. Our two rookies, Jace Richardson and Noah, both don't have ratings yet. If we go over to any one of these players, we'll start off with Paolo. And Paolo's rating now. Here we go. They give you a little bit of background on him, where he was. So again, here he ended last season. The final rating in 2K25, he ended with a 90, but now he's down to an 89 for the start of the season. They got to keep them thirsty, I guess, keep them hungry. A little bit of background. So here for Paolo, I think the biggest thing that jumps out is the defense as well. I'm not saying he's a defensive stopper or by any means, but a 58 on defense, I think is a bit low. If you look at the interior defense, 68, perimeter defense, 66, his steals at 40, his blocks at 56, his help defense IQ is at 64, and his pass perception 67, with his consistency of 45. That to me is the one that's like, oof. So the consistency is something that hopefully we do get from Paolo. Everybody has a role in the team. Paolo's role isn't necessarily to play defense, it's to fit within the team's concept of defense and for him to score the ball, really. Score, pass, get everybody involved. That's his role. So if you look at it, yeah, like I didn't expect his defense to be at 80 or so, but 58 feels a bit low. Looking at the rest of his attributes, 84 outside shooting or outside scoring is fair. 86 inside scoring, I think is better. I think that one, as you see, his layups are at 90, his hands are at 95. I think once he gets more consistent with his mid-range game, that number is going to jump a bit. Athleticism of 82, playmaking of 75, his intangibles at 95, and his potential at 94. So if he balls out, as we expect as we expect Paolo to be an All NBA candidate or an All NBA first or second team player, as well as an MVP candidate, he's going to end up at the final rating of 2K26 at closer to that 94 potential overall rating. So all in all, again, it is a video game. It's not really the end of the world. It's not something to be really upset about. But I still think it's a bit low, especially the defense. But that's just me. Then we have Franz. Same bit, talks a little bit about it. So as we see, his final rating again in 2K25 was 89, and now it's an 86. I don't know if they just think that Paolo, Franz, Desmond, and Jalen, they're all going to kind of take from each other, and that's why they're a little bit lower in their ratings. Or I believe from what I've read as well, there's a bit more of a gameplay situation that you can't have too many guys with such high ratings. So that's why some of the ratings have come down a little bit. But anyway, outside scoring, they're being very generous. Let's just say close shot he has an 86 outside scoring number. 91 close shot, mid-range shot, 76. He's getting better at that though, so I think that's something that will likely start to increase. 75 rating for a 3-point shot. Again, it's a video game. They don't want a guy or girl and have their favorite player be Franz, and they try to start shooting threes, and he's missing every every one of them. So they have him at 70 at a 75. Hopefully they're projecting and he ends up coming out having a great year from three, and that's what we're looking for moving forward. His inside scoring at 74. I think that one's a bit surprising as well, especially because a lot of the times he's driving to the basket. So it's one of those things like driving dunk is an 80, his layup is a 93, but I guess because he's not sitting there in the post and scoring, it's a little bit low. But inside scoring at 74 is fine. He has a better defensive rating at 64 than Paolo did. Paolo had 58. That makes sense to me. He is the better defender right now. 64 still feels a bit low for me. And again, I know it's a video game. They're trying to score. I get it all. So I'm going to repeat it a couple times because I think it's just a bit surprising. But his defensive consistency is rated at a 70. That to me makes sense because Franz is always putting in that work. He's always making sure that he's in the right position. He's making sure that he has his hands up and always moving his hands. You see his hands do a lot of this, so it's a bit fun on there. 76 athleticism. That's fair. We don't really have the most athletic team in general. 78 in playmaking. His intangibles also are at a 95, as well as his potential to be up to a 90. That to me seems low. I think he could get up to probably a 91, 92. Again, if the game is trying to make sure that the ratings are not super high, then maybe that might be the case. But I know he's starting off now at an 86, so that is four more ratings. So I think in that respect, I get it. But a potential of 90, I don't know, feels a little low, even though that would put him in the top 30 overall of players. So let's hope that his progression and his continued development actually is something that shows in the video game. And if we could see here, he's hot over in the corners here. So hopefully we're able to get Franz a bit more in the corner this year, so that he doesn't have to constantly have the ball with the addition of Desmond and the addition of Tyus. Next up is Desmond Bane. So he's our third ranked player. If you saw my video yesterday talking about the betting futures, it seems that at least the betting community believes that he's going to be part of the MVP conversation, or he at least he has odds for the MVP conversation. He has odds for most valuable player of the finals. He has odds for most valuable player of the NBA Cup. So they're looking for big things from Desmond. So him at an 83 feels a bit low, especially because he also ended last year at an 86. So he's down a few rating points here, but in the end, again, video game, not a big deal, especially because they might just be artificially bringing a lot of these numbers down. His outside scoring at a 90, so that's elite here in the game. His 3-point shot is in the top four of all the 3-point shooters. He's the top four. We'll go over that a little bit at the end, where I do kind of a summary on there. But a 90 outside scoring is incredible. Inside scoring, it's a bit low. He drives a lot, but again, this isn't about drives necessarily. This is about like layup is at 81. That's the only that one in hands are the only two ones that appear, because that is that. But he's not going to be in the post doing hooks and all that other stuff. So 61, fair enough. His defense is a 66, actually higher than Franz. That to me is the surprise of this one. Shocker. Talking about defense, big surprise. Anywho, I'm not going to talk much more about that, but 66 seems like what I expected everyone to expect him to be a neutral defender, not necessarily a great defender, but he'll fit into the team dynamics of the defense. But him to have a better defensive rating than Franz to me is a bit of a surprise. But who am I? 78 athleticism, 75 playmaking, 75 intangibles, and 87 potential. So they think that he be able to also jump the 4-point rating as well. So that's something that we shall see. And his hot zone is everywhere on the outside. So he gets to the basket and he is shooting threes. So if they choose him in the game, get ready to launch. Jalen Suggs. Jalen Suggs ended last year at an 84. Now he's down to an 82. We got a little mean mug there. We look at the outside scoring. He's at an 80. That's not bad. Seems the game forgot that he could shoot. But last year he didn't shoot as well as he had in previous years because he had to be a bit more on ball just because of all the injuries. So hopefully everyone's going to be healthy this year, and you have Desmond. So hopefully he's the fourth option in the offense and just could sit in the 3 point line, sit behind the 3 point line by himself, waiting for the ball to just come and hit him once one of the other guys get double teamed. The inside scoring, same thing. He's not going to be in the post, so 64. It is what it is. His defense being at a 78. That's a good one. I thought it'd be a little bit higher. Again, I guess maybe again I'm a bit of a homer, so it is what it is. But the defense at a 78 is great. His consistency is at an 85. His elite thing here, his elite attribute is the 91 on the perimeter defense. Again, he's also a top 10 perimeter defensive player that we'll again talk about at the end when I'm doing a bit of a summary. 83 athleticism, 81 playmaking, both those make sense. Rebounding at a 50. His intangibles are at a 70 and his potential is to be 84 to be 85. So right now 82 to 85. Again, the Magic are going to have a great season. Looking at the way the schedule lined up for them, looking at the way everything is lined up for them in the East when it comes to injuries to other teams, they really should expect to have a really good season. Now, of course, if there's injuries, that's one thing, but even then, even with the injuries, we have a bit more depth on our team now that there should still not be as big of a drop off as there was last year. So they're expecting big things, or at least they're giving room on all these players to have big gains for the rest of the season at an 85 potential. Yeah, he was a bit cold from 3 point land last year. Again, being on ball, having to shoot off the dribble wasn't as successful as spot up shooting like he has had in the past. AB, Anthony Black is the next guy on here. He stayed neutral from the end of 2K25 to the beginning of 2K26 with an 80 overall. So hopefully they see the potential in him. He's our number 5 guy, so he's not going to start for us. So they don't have our center listed above AB, and I think that's because if you look down here at 95 intangibles as well. So it looks like they have Paolo, Franz, and AB at huge intangibles. So I think they're expecting a big breakout. The gaming community expects a big breakout, and I think most of us do as well. 73 outside scoring. If you've been checking his socials, AB's been putting in a lot of work on his jump shot. It's going to be more compact, so hopefully that's something that translates in the season. 62 inside scoring. He is pretty good at driving, so I don't know. He has good hands. His driving numbers, that's all you can see, is his layup number at 85. His numbers there are very, very good. So we hope he's attacking and shooting the three well this upcoming season. 75 defensive rating. Also, that's pretty good. So he's in line a bit more with what Jalen is and not what the other guys are. 84 rating on perimeter defense is a high number. Help defense, pass perception, defensive consistency, all those are good numbers. So he comes in at a 75 defense. Comparatively, I guess that's a very good one. 79 athleticism, 77 playmaking, 46 rebounding. Again, his intangibles at a 95, huge number there, and they expect a potential of 84. So again, if he goes from 80 to 84, a lot of good things happened for the Magic this year. And then we'll go down to Wendell Carter Jr. So Wendell Carter Jr. is at a 79 overall, which is consistent at the end of last season. We'll see if these change. Some of the guys in the back end might change because they've been doing a lot of promotion about the game recently. It's going to be coming out in a few weeks here, so that's why they've been putting out the top 100 players, the top 30, the top 10 3-point shooters, the top 10 perimeter defenders, all that other stuff. They've been putting out a lot of content at this point. So we'll see if these numbers change, but I won't do another video if those guys change in the end, because this is the second time I'm doing this video. I did it already, but with all the changes to the top guys, I decided to film the whole thing all over again. So for Wendell Carter Jr., 70 outside scoring. That's generous. His 3 point, as we talked about before, is at a 60. Hopefully, he's able to go back to what it was a couple of years ago, a bit higher. So, fingers crossed on that. Inside scoring, I have a player profile coming out for him later on this week, and you can see he can finish with both hands. He puts in the work to try to get positioning as best as he can. So it's a good number at 80. His defense is a 74. He doesn't have the traditional stats. He doesn't have I think it's point 0.8 blocks per game, point 0.6 steals. So it's very low when it comes to those numbers. His help defensive IQ is his biggest number here at 80, and that's definitely something he because of either injuries or just age, his athleticism isn't where it once was. So he's doing a good job of making sure he's in the right position. So he may not sky to block the shot, but he's going to be able to be there and put some verticality in there and obstruct you from getting to the basket and getting an easy shot. So he's always going to be there. He's a bulldog. He's a big dude, so you're going to feel him. And defensive rating 64 is not great. It's a little low than I would expect, but again, video game, you do what you do. Athleticism at a 76, playmaking at a 53, and rebounding at 76. I thought his rebounding would be a little bit better, but that's fine. Intangibles of a 40, that's a real low number. At 83 is his potential. So they also have him available to jump up 4 points as well. I'm going to go over a couple more. We'll do Goga. I have a player profile on Goga up on my channel. So he's at a 79. So it's the same as he was. As you saw, he jumped up 6 from the beginning of last season to the end of last season. So he had a career year last year. So hopefully, whatever happened at the end of the season to him is not going to be something that continues, and he's able to bounce back from the rough end of last season to make a big impact on this team for this upcoming season. 76%, or sorry, 76 rating on the outside scoring, 67 on inside scoring, 57 on defense. That's surprising. And if you look at it, I think it's because he's not as switchable as Wendell is. Wendell is very switchable. The perimeter defense, they have him at a 25. Ooh, yowza. That's a bit low on that. He doesn't do much on steals at 49, but he has blocks at 89 and a help defense at 80. So for me, those two numbers alone really really key in and are surprising that why the defense is so low at a 57, but it is what it is. Athleticism at 70, playmaking at 59, his intangibles are at 67, and his potential is 80. So I wonder what his potential was at the beginning of last season, because he ended up jumping up 6 points, and this time they only have him pumping up 1 point. So hopefully Wendell Carter Jr. is healthy if that's who they decide to start. If it was up to me, I'd probably start Goga. I've talked about that on other videos, so check those out. But I don't see Goga having any worse than the season he had last season, especially that if you check his socials and his play a little bit in the Eurobasket prep, he's been able to start shooting from the outside. So we'll see how those go in the NBA. But at this point, that is something that he's working on to increase that. And if he starts to reliably hit those 3 pointers, then he might have even more playing time when Moe comes back. We'll do Moe, Tyus, and then Tristan. So Moe Wagner, he had an injury plagued last year. He once he was out with the injury in December, obviously he was gone for the rest of the season. So he had the same number. He had actually increased over the first couple months of last season from a 77 overall to a 79, and that's where he starts off this season, at least as of right now. The outside scoring at an 83, so his close shot is at 96 rating, and his 3 point shot is at an 80. So he can shoot from the outside. His inside scoring is at a 70. That one is a bit surprising. I think it's a little low, but that is what it is. Defense at a 53. We know his foot speed isn't always the quickest, especially out on the perimeter. So they try to keep him close to the basket, and he's the one to take the charge. That's going to be how he contributes his most on defense. A 78 on athleticism, 51 in playmaking, 60 intangibles, and a 79 for potential. So they don't see him jumping up. And I don't know if that's because he's not going to start the season. He's likely going to come midway through, but I think he still could jump up at least one. You can get to 80. Come on. So, like I mentioned, we'll do just a couple other ones. We'll have Tyus, and then we'll do Tristan. Tyus Jones, he's been consistent. actually, he dropped last year. He started at a 78 and then dropped down to a 77. He had a funky year last year with the Phoenix Suns, multitude of reasons. When I do his player profile, I'm going to talk about it. So he finished the year last year with a 77, and that's where he currently stands right now. 77 rating overall, 83 on outside scoring. Hopefully, he brings his 3-point shooting with him, and he's able to keep things open for the second unit as well. 90 excuse me, 50 inside scoring, a 52 defense, 71 athleticism, 80 in playmaking, 16 intangibles, and 79 in potential. So they're not expecting too much in the terms of a change in his overall rating, but I think he can be a key cog in the season for the Magic. If he's able to continue his assist to turnover ratio that he's brought over for many, many seasons and is able to just continue to make the nice easy play and get guys open for that second unit, that's all that we can ask for. Yeah, he's got a couple red zones in the 3-point land, and we're gonna end off with Tristan. No disrespect to Jonathan or Jet, or Orlando or Jamal, but I feel like this video is getting a bit long as it is. So if we do Tristan's real quick, I have a player profile on him already. He also has been listed he's been listed in the Sixth Man of the Year candidacy. So that's why I wanted to pinpoint him or show him right now. We see at the beginning of last year, he started off at a 70 and made it up to 75. And that's even with him not playing much of the second half of the season once the team got healthier. So hopefully his role is now going to be entrenched and he continues to play as he's been playing with the German national team for the Orlando Magic, and he contributes throughout the season. The outside scoring 75, the inside scoring 64, defense 56, excuse me 54. It's a bit low as well. Athleticism at a 77. He's a sneaky athletic guy. His playmaking at a 60, his intangibles at a 70, and his potential at an 80. So they see a bit for him to go from 75 to the 80 potential. So they actually do see a bit of a jump, or there could be a bit of a jump for him. If we do a bit of a recap here, some of the Orlando Magic that appear in the 2K26 top 10 ratings, we have Desmond Bane at an 88, as I mentioned before, for his 3-point shot. That puts him as the fourth best 3-point shooter in the NBA. The Orlando Magic have the fourth best shooter, at least per rating, in a video game. So that's a bit of a surprise because that's not something that we expected. We all knew he can shoot, but to be listed as the fourth best or the fourth highest rated, I think that one is the bit of a surprise. So that's great to see. And then when we go over to the defensive end, we have a couple guys. One on the perimeter defense, as I mentioned, Jalen Suggs is listed as eighth with a 91 rating on perimeter defense. As we know, he's a hound. He's going to be out there getting in your jersey, making sure that you're not feeling comfortable at all. Even if you're going to try to set a pick on him, he's going to put that shoulder into you or evade it in some way. So Jalen Suggs, ranked in the top 10. He's in the top 8, to be fair, of the defensive perimeter top 10 for 2K26. And lastly, in the top 10, I thought it was going to be Goga. As you saw, he had such a high rating, and I didn't go over his personal ratings, but Jonathan Isaac is at a 91, number 7 in blocks in the 2K26 game. I think that's possibly because of his reputation. As I talked about before, it's all about perception. Jonathan Isaac didn't have a great year last year, but he still has that persona. He has that name around the league, and it looks like even in the video game world that he's a great defender, and he is a good defender when he's able to get on the court and when he's healthy. So a 91 rating for blocks, being in the top 10 in 2K26, again adds to the perception that the Magic have guys on their squad that are going to be able to play. So that's the Orlando Magic player ratings in 2K26. This is something that, again, it doesn't really mean much in the grand scheme of things, but again, it's a way for us to see the perception. The video developers see our players. Tier 2 rating, 83 overall. we'll take that. Again, it's the beginning of the season. Again, it's a video game. I get it, but it's still a bit of a surprise. And I can see how the Magic players or any player feels surprised and a bit upset when their ratings drop or their ratings come in at a certain level because I was surprised when these guys, the top, our top four guys, had their ratings all drop. I was like, but they're so good, and their number was this. Why would they have their the drop? But it is what it is, and again, it's not really the biggest deal in the world. If they continue to develop, they continue to play as they should, then it really doesn't matter in the end. So that's a wrap up of everything 2K26 related right now. I think we're gonna have a bit more ratings throughout the season. I likely won't do a full video on them. I might do a couple shorts here and there just to keep everybody aware because that's what I do here, keeping track of all things Orlando Magic. So, again, what do you got to do? You got to share this video. You got to hit the like button and you got to drop in the comments below which one of the ratings surprised you the most. For me, it was defense in general, but you let me know what was yours as well as hit that subscribe button. We're getting down to a few left to try to get to that 150 subscriber mark. We're going to try to do that as soon as possible. We're a small operation here. We're building person by person. I really appreciate you spending a little bit of time talking magic with me. I hope you're having a great day.